We're on, Tom. We're live.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate
Just beat me to it. There you go.
All right, welcome everybody tonight. For point of reference, Monday, November 30th. We're going to start out tonight with the Community Development and Finance Committee's joint meeting. So at this time, I will call Community Development. Mr. Stewart, could you please call Finance?
I'll call finance to order.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. First item on the agenda is the approval of the November 9th, 2020 Joint Community Development Finance Meeting minutes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, item 2, the matter of a public hearing and consideration and action to be taken for the CDBG COVID-19 response action plan amendment. The City of Elyria amendment to the program year 2020 CDBG annual action plan and 20-2024 consolidated plan. The United States Congress passed a COVID Relief Act and the Economic Security Act, HR 748, on March 27th, 2020, providing an additional $5 billion for CBDG to aid the result of COVID-19 on housing and economic impacts. As a result, the City of Elyria received $439,110 in CDBG COVID funding. The city received notification from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on September 11th, 2020, that Elyria will receive an additional $252,583 in COVID funding. An amendment to the 2020 Annual Action Plan and 2024 Consolidated Plan is required. The city follows a 30-day public comment period. However, HUD has waived this requirement, provided that there's no less than 5 days are provided for public comment on each amendment. A public hearing will be held on Monday, November 30th, 6 p.m. to obtain views of citizens concerning approval of the amendment to the City of Elyria's Community Development Block Grant Program for the year 2020 Annual Action Plan and 20-2024 Consolidated Plan. The purpose of the amendments will be available for public viewing electronically at www.cityofelyria.org beginning on November 17th, 2020. At this time, I'll ask for any proponents. Do we have Ashley Scott available? Or Mona? Is there anyone from community development that wants to speak on this topic?
Mona, you're muted. There's no sound. Mona's going to go ahead and handle the public hearing.
Okay.
Oh,
I
there
agree. Go ahead, Mona.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Yes, this is similar to the first round of funding that was distributed earlier this year. HUD has given us an additional about $250,000. So we were proposing to put the money in back into public service activities, a little bit in administration, what we could. There is a new service here, which we're proposing is mental health, which would allocate dollars to help serve people who are going through stress due to COVID. Employment training, it was on there before for people that have lost their jobs and are looking for jobs or maybe a different career track. Youth services, which some of the money from the applicants from CDBG 2021, we have moved them over into this funding. That way we could serve more people. and subsistence payments to help residents with their water bills.
Okay, thank you, Mona. Is there any questions from anyone on either committee? Keep in mind with my tablet, I cannot see everybody. So if you have a question, just please say you have a question with your name.
This is Donna. I have a question.
Okay, Donna.
Mona, looking at the mental health, how is that going to be facilitated? What agency will that be through, or how will that work specifically?
I know there was mention of working with the Nord Center.
Okay.
That's the only one that has been approached just yet. But yeah, we would be working through a nonprofit most likely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Okay.
Can you
seeing-
see me, Tom?
Oh, I can see you now. Go right ahead. Go
Oh.
right ahead, Brenda.
Yeah, through you, Chair. I want to know about the water bill. Is that going to be a continuation through the Salvation Army, or is that going to be a new program you're setting up?
As of right now, I think we were hoping that it would be a continuation through Salvation Army. If there is another organization that has the capacity to do that, we wouldn't be opposed to working with somebody else. But right now, that's been working good with the Salvation Army.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. It's Phil.
Okay, go right ahead, Phil.
Do we have a deadline, Mona, on when these funds have to be encumbered?
I believe it's the same deadline as the first round, which is 2022. Am I correct, Ashley, on that one off the top of my head?
Yes, the funds have to be expended by September of 2022. So there's
Okay.
no deadline to have them encumbered, but there is an expenditure deadline.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thomas, Donna again.
Okay, Donna.
Mona, if you could you speak to the employment training? Is that through LC3 or a nonprofit? How is that going to work?
I think we were hoping to have someone in-house do that, and if that doesn't work out, then working through another nonprofit. I know the Urban League has the capacity to do that right now, but yeah, I think that the goal was to have that done in-house.
When, Mr. Chair, through you, when you say in-house, what specifically do you mean?
Having someone working for the city of Elyria that would be able to handle providing those job training services.
And Mr. Chair, through you again, do we have someone in that capacity? Or?
I think the mayor, did you want to talk about if you had any people in mind for that?
Sure, through you, Chair, and Moni's done a great job explaining everything. It's reassuring that the message is getting through and what we're trying to get done. But yeah, one of the thoughts was to look at, could there be someone internal? We don't have someone already identified, but the thought was, is there someone we could bring on that could help coordinate all these pieces when it comes to employment? As we're getting calls from employers saying, hey, we, even with the Embocare expansion, like they are looking for employers, and it's not impossible to work through a nonprofit. It's not. I thought it would be important for us to explore. Could it be something we do internally to kind of quarterback all these pieces with the Urban League and have a kind of go-to person for the city? If you're looking for a job, call this person at the city, and they'll help connect you to employment opportunities, sort of deal. So, but again, if that doesn't, we got till September 2022. If that doesn't get any traction, there's a number of organizations out there that we can partner with, like the college or even the Urban League or YWCA to do this work as well.
Thank you for that explanation, Mayor.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll ask again are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? I declare this public hearing has been held. We will take action. I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the CDBG 2020 Action Plan Amendment. This would be an ordinance authorizing the CDBG COVID-19 Response Action Plan Amendment. Could I get a motion from Community Development?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Sarah,
Second,
second by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question?
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Can I get a motion from finance?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Davis,
Second,
second by Mr. Tolet. Any further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to the next item. And this is the matter of the final consideration and action to be taken for the CDBG 2021 Action Plan and Consolidated Update Plan. Ashley Scott.
Yes, thank you. Tonight, we are requesting final consideration be made on the proposed 2021 CDBG Annual Action Plan. At the October 26th, third public hearing, the committee had developed a draft budget that was available for comment for the past 30 days. I would like to inform you that we did receive one comment, and that comment was a request to have sidewalks installed on Middle Avenue for Colonial Oaks Mobile Home Park. That request came in through one of the residents. I have been in conversation with HUD regarding the eligibility of this. This is a little unique because it is a privately owned commercial property. So we are looking into that for potential future funding. So I did want to make you aware of that. But other than that, I don't know if you wanted me to go over what was, drafted at the end of October, if you wanted to make any adjustments to the budget as it currently stands, or if you just want to move forward.
Okay, thank you very much, Ashley. I appreciate that. I appreciate your updating us on that, at least that one comment that came in. I will just go ahead and say that our last meeting that we had in person in regards to this topic, I know we all studied the numbers. We looked at them very closely. I think we were all in agreement. However, if there's anyone there that wants to see those numbers and have Ashley go into it again, please speak up so we can go forward. But does anybody else want to chime in or would like to see those numbers? It doesn't sound like anybody's chiming in. So everybody, as far as I know, is okay with everything the way we left it at our last meeting that we had in council chambers.
Yes.
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 Sounds good.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you to everybody. Before I read the committee report, I know this was a very, very difficult year. I want to say thank you again to the Community Development Department, Ashley and her staff, for their effort that they put out. Made things very clear for everybody. Always had things in on time. Just want to say thank you for your efforts. I know that all council members appreciate it. If anybody else would like to chime in on that, that's fine. If not, I'll read the committee report.
Thank you to all the council members and the administration and everybody else who makes our job a lot easier.
Okay,
Yes,
excellent.
thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And I did leave out the administration. I want to say thank you to the mayor and his staff as well. I appreciate their efforts as well. I'm sorry I missed that in my initial discussion there. So Seeing no
You hit it
more.
right on the head. They do the hard work. They do the
I
hard
know,
work for
I
sure.
know. Yeah, but everybody's working together, so that's the key. So, and we're gonna make this work. So thank you to everyone. Looking and seeing no more comments, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the CDBG 2021 Action Plan and 2020-2024 Consolidated Plan Update. This is an ordinance authorizing the approval of said plan for 2021 and the said plan update. Could I get a motion from Community Development?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Mrs. Mitchell, seconded by Mr. Sarah.
Question.
Question on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Can I get a motion from Finance?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Baird,
Second.
second by Mr. Tolet. Any further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, we have one more item for the joint meeting here tonight. And that will be the matter of authorizing the engagement of the law firm of McDonald Hopkins LLC to represent the city of Elyria to economic development and general municipal law. This was referred to by Mr. Taylor. Is Mr. Taylor on the Zoom?
I don't believe so, but I'll be prepared to give him any remarks.
Okay, Mayor, please go right ahead. Thank you.
So you all got a chance to meet with the McDonald Hopkins folks a couple months ago, in particular in our discussions around Midway Mall. So this is just an agreement to be able to engage with them to continue to work with the city in a more formal capacity as opposed to informal capacity as they did last time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are there any questions?
So I know that Mr. Callens is Vic Stewart. So Mayor, I know that I think maybe, I don't know if all council members had it, but there was a sheet 2 of McDonald Hopkins. It was missing in the packet, and I think it was basically telling, from what I understand, maybe from the law director's office, but maybe Amanda can weigh in at, but it was basically the hourly not to exceed amount, because I don't think that was in our notes that I didn't get. And I think it might have slipped through, but Amanda, if you want to kind of relay on that portion of it.
Sure, I can do that through you. As outlined, yes, there would be a not to exceed. It's as proposed by McDonald Hopkins, and what we would want to set forth would be $200,000. So and so that's I don't see any issue with that. The way that it's set forth, and this is also pretty standard, is that there's a different hourly rate based upon the type of legal counseling that the firm would be giving. So that's a big part of the reason why it's set forth as far as economic, if they were doing economic development versus, let's say, the general municipal law. Economic development is more specialized. So that's why it's set. So it's a different rate, hourly rate. If you have any other specific questions, like Mr. Brunig and I and Chairman Stewart did speak earlier today. We did go over some of this. The only question that I have, and this could probably be resolved as far as the details in talking with Attorney Taylor in preparing, legislation, is that the referral did request that it be an emergency, and I certainly don't have any qualms about that. I would just need to know the specifics for an emergency clause and any legislation that my office would be preparing. I don't have any issues at all in recommending to council that we do this under suspension of rules. but we need to do something, have some specific language for an emergency clause. Obviously, I understand that there's a sense of urgency on the part of the economic development, but and we would need to have something specific. And obviously, the committee report, if the mayor and the administration, his administration, are asking for it to be an emergency, I think that's something worth discussing this evening, obviously, for the report.
In saying all that, I think it's a great opportunity. We met with them, and I think this is, use their expertise in what we're going to be, maybe encompassing here in the near future, and, utilizing their tools that they have in history. I think it's a great opportunity for us, and then and moving forward with that. So we're just missing one sheet of that, but I think this is, like I said, moving forward, I feel very comfortable with speaking with the law director and getting their opinion on it. So, and I know that, I mentioned this before in the past. So,
Vic, can I make a comment?
Go ahead, Mr. Tolet.
Through you, Mr. Chair, both of you. This group, I think, to give the mayor the most bullets in his gun, we should pass this as an emergency, just so that he can start with this right away before the first of the year, if that's needed. You agree with that, Mayor?
Through you, Chair, yes, Councilman Tolet, there is a little bit, and we can make sure we document and send it to the law department around why we are asking for it as an emergency, because there is some, there is some activity now that we need some help crossing the finish line and helping make it happen. So.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, we had a little discussion at the Economic Development Committee about that, and there was some need for moving forward, as Mr. Tolet said, to give the mayor the best background we can to keep moving it ahead. So I fully endorse that.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. I guess I have one.
Chair.
I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Okay, so how do we make payments? Is that like billed for hourly and then we make a payment? And where does the money come from for the payments? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, as far as where the money comes from, if this turns into be a TIF project out at the Midway Mall, the payment would probably be taken from debt proceeds and then would be factored into the TIF calculations. If that's not the case, or if we run into some time constraints as far as payment, my guess it will appropriate it in the issue 6 Economic Development Department.
So question, Ted, if we are making payments and it does come out of the TIF, do we make that payment and then we get reimbursed? Thank you,
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
we would make the payment, and then what we would do is calculate the TIF into the entire project, or the payment into the TIF calculations, and then it would be all rolled into the TIF program.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Oh, sorry about that. Through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Oswald, to answer your question about billing, yes, as would be the case with other specialized counsel that we deal with as a city, I would imagine that we would get a monthly invoice from this firm that breaks down the types of work that they've done on behalf of the city, and then we would address the payment, and Ted's office would handle what fund that the payment would come from. But yeah, it's invoiced typically on a monthly basis.
And through you, Chair, I just wanted to mention that this group is going to be working with us not just on one location, but on different locations throughout the city, including Chestnut Commons and other areas as well.
Good, thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, through Ted, so does that need to be identified tonight as far as if it's coming out of issue 6? Community development or economic development, I should say, at this particular time, or is this going to ever be evolving until future projects come into
I
fold?
think it'll be evolving. They're doing work on Chestnut Commons, that can come right out of the Chestnut Common Road Connector Fund, which we already, we have the debt proceeds already in place and been paying the contractor. So if there's any work that's being done on that project, that can come right out of that fund. So I would say in the legislation, I'll touch base with Amanda, but we can probably indicate that it may come out of various funds.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I guess I have one question for the law director, and I apologize if I missed this. I know we have an amount not to exceed 200,000, but do we base this particular at this particular time on when we run out, when we get to the 200,000 and then we do this again? Or is there like a 1-year contract and we review it at that point? How does that work?
So this wouldn't be a time, I guess, a time-based contract. It would be based upon monetary.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So-
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay, not hearing any. At this point, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the engagement of the law firm of McDonald Hopkins LLC to represent the city of Elyria. This is an ordinance authorizing the said law firm to represent the city of Elyria in economic development matters and general municipal law matters and advice. Could I get a motion from community development?
So moved.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, through you, aren't we going to put an emergency on that?
I
That'd be
believe,
in a legislation. Yeah.
I believe the law director will write that up that way, but I believe that everybody's in agreement at this particular time that we want to have an emergency.
Okay, then I second.
Great. Okay, the motion was made by Mr. Sarah and seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question?
Question on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Can I get a motion from finance?
So moved,
So
Mr.
moved.
Chairman.
Moved by
Second.
Mr. Baird, second by Ms. Davis. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, I want to say thank you to everybody. And at this particular time, I know Mr. Stewart is going to carry on with finance, but I do not believe we have anything more for community development. And seeing none, I would entertain a motion for the community development committee to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Mitchell, second by Mr. Sarah.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Carry on, Mr. Stewart.
Mr. Callahan, we'll kind of let things settle a little bit here and then we'll move forward with finance.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Jack.
Aye.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night.
Hi, Donna.
Good night.
Okay. I think we're good here. All right, we'll continue on with finance. First on the agenda is the approval of the special finance meeting minutes, October the 5th, 2020, and the regular finance meeting minutes of September 14th and November 9th of 2020. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Baird,
Second.
second by Mr. Tolet. Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item number 2 has been removed. That was already been taken care of. Item number 3. We consider the matter of the lot mowing charges and authorizing a resolution certifying the attached list of properties for the collection of lot mowing charges to be certified by Lorraine County Auditor's Office. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Baird,
Second.
second by Mr. Tolet. Mr. Brubaker, this is kind of standard, but go ahead and,
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is standard as well as the next item on the agenda. It's the end of the year process that we place liens on in this particular case, the lot mowing charges for 2020. So that will go on lien pending council approval.
okay. Is there any other discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay. Motion carried. Item number 4. We consider the matter of demolition charges. A resolution authorizing a resolution to certify the attached list of said properties for the collection of demolition charges to be certified to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Chair.
Moved by.
Second.
Second by Mr. Baird. Mr. Brubaker, this is just kind of piggybacking that last conversation.
It is. These are actually demos that we use general fund dollars for within the building department demolition fund. We had a like number of demolitions that the county port authority took down, which is not anything we need to worry about. They'll take, those properties were owned by the county. But you can see on the list there, the number and where the properties were of the demolitions that we were able to do in 2020. We have a couple more that I'd like to get down by the end of the year, but it's all pending asbestos removal. But
Okay.
this is to protect our interest in the future, that if those lots were to sell, that we would have an opportunity to recoup potentially some money.
Okay, very good. Any other questions or discussion?
Question.
Questions have been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Item number 5. We consider the matter of the
Is the
cold
project?
storage lease with
Just like-
Lorraine County.
Just that project.
Where it's authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for the city to lease space for the cold storage for the county building, Lorraine County building located at 530 South Abbey Road. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So
So moved,
moved.
Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Baird, second by Ms. Davis. Director Firestein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to members of the committee, this is in front of you tonight to continue our lease with the Lorraine County Port Authority. We lease a small area on South Abbey Road for the storage of some of our vehicles and equipment through the cold winter months to make sure that they stay intact and operate, to make sure they're operable when we need them. In an effort to continue to follow the rules, as you know, we've talked throughout the year. I think before this first lease was started back in 2012 with a few renewals throughout the years, but there's no more renewals available to us. So that's why it's in front of you. Same terms, same rent as before. I do have a copy of a updated contract for review in the law director's office. But due to time constraints, I also wanted to put this in front of council's attention in order to get this passed before the end of the year, before our lease is up and we don't have any storage space for the months of January. So
Good.
happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Safety Service Director? Ms. Davis?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So is this area a heated area at this cost? Or how many vehicles are we storing there that we have to pay and don't have a facility of our own?
Well, through the chairperson, I'm not sure on the number of vehicles and equipment. I know Director Strozak brought this to my attention earlier in the summer, knowing that the lease was coming to an end. I believe the idea has been, if the city is to build a newer central maintenance garage where they would have a heated area to hold those vehicles in it, we could potentially then leave that lease and have that storage area for that. But since we don't have that at this time, it's probably more cost benefit for us to have the lease there in order to keep our vehicles ready to go in case of a snow emergency or any other type of emergency, because it could put the welfare and the safety of our citizens at risk.
Thank
And
you.
to add on to that, to answer your question, Ms. Davis, in the summer months and the winter months, we keep our leaf backs there. They're out of the weather. We also keep our plow trucks there in the summer when they're not. All of our plows are stored there, so they're not out in the elements all summer long. We have quite a bit of different types of pieces of equipment that we're able to store there for seasonal storing, and it is heated. So the director is correct. If we were able to build a facility, we'd be able to relinquish that.
And that's always been the goal that we've tried to, in the future, is we're purchasing all these vehicles with the taxpayers' dollars over there. And that was always our goal, to kind of get a building in place. I know it's been conversations have been had in the past. That's always a goal that we want to have so that we're not paying rent and that we're storing them in our own facilities. So we're still trying to move forward with that. It's just when we feel the timing is to kind of bring that back to the forefront. Ms. Deary, I know that you had maybe wanted to weigh in on something possibly, or no?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to say I had a copy of the 2017 ordinance.
Frozen. That's cold storage. Yeah.
What's that?
You were frozen. You kind of went in pause mode.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm looking at the 2017 ordinance. It refers to cold storage. It is a very large space over at the old bookseller, old DIY area. And I do believe the reason that it was initially written the way that it was with a 1 year with the additional possible 1 year renewals is to give us that flexibility in case the city is in the position to pursue a new central garage.
Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Firestein, Mr. Brubaker, for clarifying. When I read that, I go, cold storage. And I'm kind of going, what are we doing over there? We got beer stored over there or what? So I knew we had this for the vehicles, but the way it was written up threw me off. So thank you. And I moved it. We move ahead. Question.
No. Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those nay. Motion
Thanks,
carried.
everyone.
Yep. Item number 6. The matter of a permanent appropriation changes. Is that something we have going on, Ted or John?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the committee, no, we don't have any tonight, but the next meeting, which I believe will be the final Finance Committee meeting of the year, I will be bringing forward the final amendments to the 2020 permanent appropriation and the 2021 temporary appropriation.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else? If there's nothing more to come before this committee, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
Moved by Mr.
Second.
Baird, second by Mr. Tolet, I guess.
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch. Amanda, I'll give you a call maybe here in a little bit. Okay, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank
Hey,
you.
good night.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Sweet.